Hey, good evening. Wixman Ray here. Happy Wednesday, hump day, middle of the week here. It's May 6th, 2026. It's about 8 o'clock Central Time. I'll let you guys do the conversion wherever you're living. You know your time right now, if you're watching right now, which you're not. That's probably a stupid thing to say, Ray. But anyways, hey, so we'll start out west. This is our infrared satellite. We'll just do this one tonight since it's getting a little later, and our other one, our RGB, won't be very effective at this time of night. So, anyway, so we got our next system coming into the northwest part of the country. We got some, I think there's a little bit of showers breaking out across Washington and Idaho and Montana, but we will look at our surface observations to confirm that. So yeah, but quite a bit of cloud cover out there. That's our next shortwave trough, as we call them, coming into play. Here's a little wave that's coming out of Colorado into Kansas and Panhandle, Texas, eastern New Mexico. Still causing a little bit of rain and snow out in this area. We'll show you that. They had some snow out in parts of eastern Colorado, I know. I think Cheyenne saw some snow. I don't know what the official snow totals were. Maybe we can look that up if we've got time. So we got that second system, and then we got this is our main frontal system. Actually, this is the subtropical jet with these high clouds, with the front kind of stretching from the northeast, kind of squirrels around and then becomes more east to west out over the Atlantic towards the mid-Atlantic, and then stretches down through the southeast southern states here where you're seeing these thunderstorms, and that's why you're seeing these reds and dark colors down here. Those are all thunderstorms that have blown up this evening out there. Got a couple tornado warnings, I believe, out there, and some severe warnings. So watch out down south there. Um, yeah, so that's the frontal system. Then there's a wave or two. Looks like a little wave coming out of Canada into the northern plains up here into Minnesota. Some clouds. I don't think there was a lot of precip with that, but we can take a look. There's some clouds going over the Great Lakes with another wave, but really not much in the way of precip. Mainly just cloud cover for the most part. Then we got some lingering rain back across the northeast with this system here. Um, yeah, so looks like the main part of the front's actually east of Maine. Maine sits right here. It's hard to see with all these colors, but that's where Maine is. But you got some showers, it looks like, up in parts of the northeast still with those clouds, with that wave going through. That's behind that cold front. So that's our infrared measuring the cloud tops. And then you see kind of the ridge that's been building across California, Nevada, even parts of Utah and Arizona where it's starting to dry out here. So, and that'll kind of be the story for the next several days out here in the west. We'll have little systems kind of coming across the north, like we talked about yesterday on the upper level charts I showed you. They'll kind of skirt across through the northern Rockies and kind of keep the interior part of the west and the central and southern Rockies dry, while the northern Rockies may get a little bit of clouds and precipitation with those waves kind of trying to come through over the top of that ridge that's building across the west there. Okay, so enough of that. Start out in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, there's a few showers up here in Montana coming out of not Idaho. Well, I guess there's a little bit in way far north Idaho near the border, but I meant to say Canada, but very spotty at that. So not a lot of stuff coming out of the clouds there. I think that's a false report at Yakima. They don't have any clouds. They're calling clear with rain. Sometimes you see that, and that's caused sometimes by spider webs or something on the sensor causing some issues. But there are clouds out there in Seattle and Astoria, it looks like. So even Portland, not too bad. It's in the 50s back up here in Washington. Still 60s down in farther south in Portland, and then 70s on the interior part of Oregon. It's a really nice day out there. 80 there. Seeing some 60s and 70s across Idaho, so nice day there. Really not bad out in they're warming up out here, 60s and 70s across western Montana. Still some 50s lingering across the eastern side where they still got the influence of that cooler air. A little bit cool across Wyoming, 50s for the most part, a couple 40s. Looks like Cheyenne's 35. That's probably because they got a bunch of snow. I don't know how much, but that's an indication that they have snow on the ground, so their temperatures are cooler. Denver's the same, 38. So, yeah, all these areas where it looks cooler, you probably had quite a bit of snow out here. This is Lyman, I think. Yeah, they probably got some snow out there. They're 39. So, yeah, so we'll have to see if we can find some snow reports out there if we have some time. Nice across Utah in the 60s, 65 in Salt Lake City. Look at that. 70s across northern Nevada, 72 in Elko, 79 in Reno, and a nice 84 degrees in Las Vegas. So not too bad out there in Nevada. California, nice, 70s. It looks like an 80 there. It's just cooler along the coast, but that's kind of a normal thing. A little breezy again at San Francisco, about 20, 25-mile-an-hour winds coming off the ocean. Sitting 60 degrees at the airport in San Francisco. The interior valleys are 70s and 80s. With some 90s across the desert, or actually they're in the 80s. Okay, I was wrong. So not as hot down here in the 80s. 65 at LAX at the airport. Yeah, and across Arizona, 70s up in northern Arizona, some 60s up at Grand Canyon, 63 at the park there. Pretty warm across Texas where they don't have the clouds and the front here. It looks like it's 70s and 80s across at least southwest Texas. That's cooler where there's the front went through. They got some 60s back here, 62 in Dallas, 50, 59 out there, and that's Longview. So a little chilly for Texas, eastern Texas. Um, Warmer as you get south, 70s and 80s down in South Texas. And then here's where the action begins. It looks like it actually starts in eastern Texas. There's a few stray thunderstorms across eastern Texas, nothing severe. Looks like a couple going up into Arkansas, just near Texarkana. Um, Looks like some pretty good thunderstorms going across Louisiana. Looks like the front's already south of Shreveport. Shreveport's 57. That's a little chilly for them. So front looks like it's sitting down near Fort Polk, Louisiana, and Alexandria, Louisiana, right around that area, and between Jackson and Macomb, Mississippi. We got two tornado warnings north of Macomb. There's a tornado warning out there in Mississippi. Let's see what Brookhaven. That's in Lincoln County in Mississippi. And looks like we got a couple tornado warnings. Yeah, and that. Both these look like you got hook echoes on them. That's east of Hattiesburg. So out there, probably not a lot of people live out there, but I'm sure there's people that live there. So take cover if you're out there. Looks like some stronger storms. I don't see any severe out here. These probably are approaching severe, but they might have some hail or just heavy rain anyway. So some pretty strong storms across the south. Got a couple, looks like some severe warnings across, that's Selma, so just to the kind of northwest of Selma. We got a severe thunderstorm warning approaching the Montgomery area. Well, not yet, but it's out there. There's thunderstorms around Montgomery, Alabama. South of the front, pretty nice, 70s and 80s, very warm and humid. Got all that moisture coming off the Gulf there, and 80s across Florida. Some upper 70s here and there, like Tampa. And we got thunderstorms all the way up, not too far from Atlanta, northern Georgia, and extending up into South Carolina. Looks like this stuff in Tennessee and North Carolina is probably mostly rain, although there could be a couple, strikes of embedded thunder in there. But yeah, so that's what you got going there. That's where that front's kind of looks like it's between Nashville and that's Tyson McGee or Knoxville actually. Sorry, Knoxville Airport, I believe, is where that observation is. So the front's kind of running across Tennessee and down through the south there. Then we got the front just south of DC. It looks like there's some showers near DC. Probably not any thunder out there. I mean, they look like they could be some thunder. I guess if you hear a clap of thunder, don't be surprised, but some mostly showers probably up this way. Looks like some showers across New York, especially as you get to the eastern side near Albany. And it's in the 40s, so kind of chilly out here, 40s, some 50s near Boston, 58. They're one of the warmer spots in the Northeast, but quite a bit of showers there. Um, Across the Northeast still. And this is probably nothing. This It's pretty chilly out there in the UP in northern Michigan, some 30s, 40s and 50s farther south. Probably kind of like lake effect, so it's either just some rain or, but that stuff's so light, it would be sprinkly or probably just picking up clouds mostly. That's my guess, but if you get anything, it'll be really light, so nothing too significant. It's got some 40s, even some upper 30s and 30s up here across northern Minnesota. So yeah, a little chilly out there. That's where that trough of lower pressure is bringing all that cold air extending across the northern plains all the way through the Midwest and the Great Lakes and Northeast. So that'll hang around for another couple days, anyways. So that's really about it. Yeah, there's this leftover showers here across Kansas. Looks like there's still some snow out there in eastern New Mexico, Clayton, New Mexico. This is kind of the higher plains, so there might be some snow out here. The temperatures look like they're in the low to mid 30s, so there still might be some light snow. It looks like as you get closer to the I-40 here, probably it looks like some really gusty winds, gusting up to 50 at Tucumcari, 40 there at what's this place? Santa Rosa. That's right along the I-40. So they're getting some showers there and some gusty winds across there. So drive safe if you're a trucker out there in that part of the world. And that's about all I've got for you on the surface. So some rough and tumble weather across the south and a few other areas, kind of unsettled. So anyway, so this is through midnight. They're showing those showers up in Montana, mostly creeping into near Yellowstone, Wyoming area, extreme northern part of Idaho, and then they're painting this rain, even though we're seeing some snow. So the models mean not quite picking up on that too well, probably. They had it on the previous frame, so there's definitely some snow back there. And here's this frontal system. That's the main feature on the map. This is all that thunderstorms and heavy rain across the south, and the low pressure is kind of sitting up just northeast of Maine. So with all the rain up there. So as we head through tomorrow, that front will move offshore. There'll be some waves back here behind it, bringing in some light showers across the Great Lakes and the Northeast as we go through the day tomorrow. You can kind of see that another wave kind of coming through parts of Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, and Indiana with a few showers there. Here's the front now. It's way out over the ocean. It's kind of hanging back towards the Carolinas and Georgia and maybe into northwest Florida. So maybe a few showers, maybe a couple thunderstorms will be lingering back through here. Maybe a few rogue showers or thunderstorms too. This is that low pressure that we see. It's back here. It's real dry, but it's associated with this. There's a low pressure in the upper atmosphere out here, and that's what's going to bring in that rain. That's why you're starting to see that showing up on the model out here near South Texas. So some rain starts popping up there tomorrow afternoon and evening. So we'll start seeing the effects of the showers, maybe some thunderstorms popping up down there, and that'll be our next main weather maker across the south. As we head through the weekend, that low pressure coming out of Mexico. So as we head into, so this is Friday, so another wave develops and picks up some moisture and gets some rain going across Missouri into Kansas, Oklahoma, and back to the east over the Midwest into Indiana and Ohio, southern Michigan. So that'll probably be mainly showers. I guess there could be a couple thunderstorms embedded in there. Don't really think anything will be severe. And then here's what that low pressure that we're starting to see more showers and storms across Texas and in parts of the south. It really blows up in the evening and even into southern Oklahoma. So we'll have this wave up here and then this low pressure down south will kind of combine forces, and it kind of looks like it's, quite a bit out there. But this probably looks worse than what it's actually going to be. These are going to probably be more lines of thunderstorms and showers, and not like a continuous rain band everywhere. We do see a couple waves up here across the north again. Another one up here in North Dakota. Another one coming into Montana. Watch this one. This one will be these little waves will deepen and strengthen and help and kind of combine forces with this low down here and make the next major, somewhat major storm for the end of the weekend. So as we go through the Saturday, you see that wave with a little weak low pressure going across New York, and that'll bring some showers out to the northeast and going through the mid-Atlantic on Saturday. You can see this is that next cold front coming down out of Canada. That was kind of the hint of it right there. It comes down pretty quick, and the low pressure forms over there in Ontario province. Got some snow across the northern Midwest, or not snow, but rain and some showers. And then you got some stuff back across Wyoming and Montana again on the tail end of this front. And then this is the remnants of that low pressure with all the showers and thunderstorms across the south on Saturday. And then this is late Saturday. So you see a line of storms, showers and storms will develop across, Ohio through Illinois, Missouri, towards Kansas City area and parts of Kansas and southern Nebraska along that front there. We'll see some showers and storms and even some stuff maybe back into Oklahoma there a little bit. See a little low pressure forming there, but yeah, this is all that. This is that upper system that's moving across the south, so it's going to keep it wet across the south through the weekend. And we still have that energy that came across the northern Rockies with those little waves. This will be the next stronger one. And as we go into Sunday, so that kind of pushes that front south. So we see that wave of energy. This was this stuff over here that came out of the Rockies. That's what all this is down here. We'll see showers and thunderstorms across the Arkansas, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and parts of the South as we head through Sunday here. And then the front will kind of drag up through the Northeast, similar to this one, but not exactly the same. And then we see this other wave. This is that low pressure kind of starting to exit the area. Maybe some lingering stuff across the southeast, but that thing will start going away from the United States. So that goes through Monday morning. That's about all as far as we'll cover. So kind of some uncertainty with the severe over the weekend. I think Saturday, I think they had something up here along this front. I don't think they really had much down here across the south. There could be, maybe a marginal or slight risk down here on Sunday across this area through the Arklatex region, as I call it, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Oklahoma, and all that area going through the south. So there could be on Sunday, possible. Although they don't have anything outlined yet. It's on day 4. So here's our storm prediction center since I'm talking about that. So today is the best of all the days so far. And we saw those tornado warnings out in Mississippi, and that's where they've got the enhanced risk. And that kind of extends over to Alabama tonight. So watch out there. I know it's dark out there, and it's notorious for the South to get tornadoes at night and people to die. I mean, unfortunately, that's happened many times. And at night, they're just so much more dangerous because you just can't see them. And across the South, as you people know that live down there's a lot of trees, and you just can't see like you can out here in, like, say, Oklahoma or Kansas, where there's not many trees. So anyway, so be careful across this area. Slight risk extends from South Carolina, Georgia, all the way back to East Texas. So, but yeah, watch out in this whole area for the rest of tonight. There's your tornado risk. So pretty good tornado risk where they do have those tornado warnings, a wind threat, pretty good hail threat too. So watch out there tonight for severe storms and tornadoes. Tomorrow doesn't look quite as crazy. As that front dips south, like we talked about, parts of the southeast into northwest Florida have marginal risk. Looks like a low tornado risk, although it's not nothing. It's not zero anyways. And then so kind of mainly a wind and tornado. They don't really got much outline for hail. They did have a little area out there across near Del Rio, Texas area, and out there in that less populated part of Texas. Looks like mainly a hail threat out there. But so watch out for storms out that way too, as you head into your Thursday. And for Friday, like we were talking about, so they're kind of painting them down across southern Missouri for, say, Springfield, Joplin, so marginal threat near Oklahoma City and Tulsa. So watch out those areas. Might get some isolated severe through there, but it doesn't look like a real big threat at the moment. But just stay tuned. Things can always change. And then after that, they don't really have anything outlined, like I said. So let me see if I can find my snow reports. I think I have these on here somewhere. Snowfall reports, totals map. Maybe that's the one. Here we go. There we go. That's exactly what I was looking for. Yeah, I wanted to see what kind of snow they had out there since we were talking about that for a couple days. Wow, they got a bunch of snow out there. So here's up by Cheyenne. I'm seeing 6. Wow, almost a foot east of Cheyenne. So they had, upward. Some areas north of them only had a couple inches, but upwards of 6 to 12 inches. Crazy. 18 inches. That's on that high. That's Vedawoo, or however you pronounce that. That's along I-80 there, going up towards Laramie. It looks like Laramie had maybe an inch or so. So, man, they probably had to close down the interstate there. They had 16 inches there along. That's in Buford. That's along I-80 there between Cheyenne and Laramie. Looks like other areas had quite a bit of snow. Significant snows out here. It looks like over a foot up in the mountains, a couple feet out here in some of these places, man. Yeah, up in the passes, 2.5 feet. Let's see what they had down around Denver. It looks like, yeah, 4, 6 inches. So, yeah, generally up to about 6 inches, 3 to 6, 4 to 6. A little bit higher amounts up here to the north of them. 9, 10 inches in Wellington. Yeah, so they had some significant, pretty good snow for the first week of Longmont. Had about 4 or 5 inches down. I don't know all these places. Broomfield. Yeah, there was a lot of snow all the way down to this is this is part of the Denver area, I believe. Yeah, that's Inglewood. So yeah, up as you get into the foothills, they had close to a foot, I see some 8 to 10 foot inches reports. Even down I-25, there were 7 inches there. I think that's a little bit higher elevation right there. And these are going a couple inches all the way down to Colorado Springs, 1 to 2 inches. So, wow, they got a bunch of snow. And then this is out where Lyman is. They got 3.5, 4 inches, 6 inches there. So along, yeah, I-70 was a mess there. I-25, I-70 was a mess yesterday. I don't know when it ended. It probably ended earlier today. But yeah, so crazy. A lot of snow out there. Yeah, that even extended down into New Mexico a little bit, a couple inches down there in parts. Taos had a couple inches, it looks like. Yeah, 6 inches at the ski place, so a couple inches around the town there. And that's it. Looks like, yeah, they even got them clear out into western or Kansas there, one or about an inch or two there out in far western Kansas near the border. So, yep, that panned out. That was a good forecast by the model there, and I guess it was a good forecast by me to mention it. So, I'm happy about that. They're probably ready for that to be done. It's probably already melting, or it'll melt pretty quick tomorrow. So we're at the first week of May, so that sun angle will work on it real quick. So, anyways, hey, that's all I've got for you. I'm glad I got to show you the snow reports, and you got to see that kind of coolness. Stuff like that's kind of cool for us weather geeks, meteorologist type. We love that kind of stuff. And although it probably impacted people, you know, caused a lot of traffic accidents and whatnot. But that's nothing new for Denver, you know. I know they've seen storms like this before in May, so it's not uncommon. It's not a rare thing, anyways. Now, if it was June, yeah, I'd probably say that's more rare. So, anyways, that's all I got for you folks. I appreciate you watching, for looking at these videos. Please spread the news to your friends about these, and you know, we're here to educate you and want to educate the kids, you know, and especially those who are interested in science and weather stuff. And I know a lot are. A lot of I when I was in the weather service, I used to do talks to the schools, elementary schools especially. That's where they were especially interested. It was kind of a mixed bag at the high schools. You had some people that were interested, and you know how teenagers are. Some were just yawning or bored or whatever. You know how they are. But anyways, so yeah, just spread the word, and we're here we try to have a video every night, but like you saw the other day, I didn't make one, so it's not a promise, but I'll try to get one out. I'm still in the back of my mind, I still got the, you know, I want to do the around the world thing. I just haven't had time to get to it. So, you know, my days off have been few and far between, it seems like, and when I do have a day off or two, I keep super busy with other things. So, anyways, that's all I've got for you. I appreciate y'all. Wixman Ray out.